Oh man, oh man, oh man, is it true? Gervonta Davis is returning to the ring. We're hearing a lot from, a lot of sources that Gervonta Davis is going to be coming back to fight Frank Martin in the second major pay-per-view event for the newly and improved Amazon Prime edition of PBC Fights. Man, I'd be really excited for that fight. I feel like Frank Martin's a very credible lightweight. I always said, if Tank's not going to fight Shakur, if Tank's not going to fight Devin at 140, he should definitely make a Lomachenko fight happen. He should make or if he can't do that, Keyshawn Davis. I know it's tough with Top Rank, so fight maybe Frank Martin. And now that fight has presented itself, and I think that's a big bag for Frank Martin. How could you turn that down? I feel like Frank Martin got a lot of, hate for taking himself and removing himself from the Shakur fight when that was definitely an offer on the table for Shakur. Turned that fight down, and everybody was saying, you're a duck, you're this, you're that. But if he gets a Gervonta Davis fight, Frank Martin's going to make a lot of money from Al Heyman, that PBC new and improved network on Amazon Prime. I feel like Frank Martin's definitely a credible opponent, and for Gervonta Davis to come back and fight a guy like Frank Martin, I think this would be a big test for not only Frank Martin, obviously, but I think it would still be a very difficult task for Gervonta Davis. Given Frank Martin's style, he's a fundamentally sound fighter, not coming off his best performance, but still, that fight against Michel Rivera, told me a lot about Frank Martin. He told me that he might just be on another level, not from Tank, but he might be on that level where he's able to hold his own against a guy like Tank. And obviously I still favor Tank, don't get me wrong. Tank's my guy. You can't really, I'm a betting man, and I can't put money up against Tank. It's very hard for me to do, and there's only two people that I'd really feel, comfortable doing that, if anything, and that's Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney. Those are the only two guys where I'd say, okay, maybe I put some money on the, the opposite end, of Tank. But it's even at that point, I'm like, ooh, like I don't know if I like those odds. But yeah, I always rock with Tank because at this point, we keep putting guys in front of him. We keep making excuses for them, like the rehydration clauses, this and that. This guy's not as good as you, but every test that they put in front of him, he runs over them. He runs through his opponents, and he makes it look like easy work. And I'm not saying that he's faced the most credible opposition when you're comparing him to guys like Devin Haney, when you're comparing him to guys like Teofimo Lopez, and I think that's a big fight as well for Tank down the line. But right now, for him to fight Frank Martin in a get-back fight, I'm not really mad at it. I think a lot of the casual fans are going to be, who's Frank Martin? What has Frank Martin done? But, we know that Errol Spence signed Frank Martin, and Frank Martin, credible opponent, man. Like, I'm surprised that Errol Spence, who is Frank Martin's promoter, is down for that fight. I feel like he needs a little bit more seasoning before taking that fight, but it's still a big test for Tank, in my opinion. But I expect him to pass. I think that Tank beats Frank Martin. I think he would probably stop him. I think it'd be a late stoppage. It'd be a very interesting, fast-paced fight, a high-level chess match in the first few rounds. But I think once Tank starts to get in that groove, once he starts catching your jab, like you can really tell. Tank tries to catch your jab in the beginning, but in the middle to later rounds, he really gets a hold of your rhythm. He's able to set traps, and that's when Tank does his thing. That's when he's at his best. He's most comfortable when he's setting his traps, when he becomes that counter puncher. He starts very slow. He starts defensively, lets you get your shots off. He likes to see what you're about in the first 2 to 3 rounds, and then he starts picking it up, starts to counter a little bit more, and then you start feeling it. You say, oh, can't make that mistake again, and then you start second-guessing your movement, start second-guessing that pattern that you're creating. Can he read, what I'm going to do next? He starts telegraphing your shots, and it gets in your head, and then he sets a trap for you and ends the fight. Like, there's only one guy that really does it like that, and that's Gervonta Tank Davis. He's so sneaky in there. So, like, Frank Martin, it's going to be a tough night in the office, but if he can stick around, swim without getting wet for 12 rounds straight, hey, that's a big fight for him. That's a very winnable fight. But he has to be very careful. But it's easier said than done against a guy like Gervonta Tank Davis, because we're not talking any lightweight in the world. This is and they've sparred before. Frank Martin, gives Gervonta Davis all the credit in the world. It's just, we know that this is a difficult fight for Frank Martin. It's a dangerous fight for him. But hey, he's gonna make a lot of money either way, win, lose, or draw. He's not going in there to lay down, and we know that Tank's coming to fight. Coming off, everything that he's been through outside the ring, Tank, you can expect him to, be as more dangerous, if not, you know, at his most dangerous point now, where he's excited to get back in the ring. He's excited to be in his training camp and make his return to, you know, the sport of boxing. So let me know in the comments who you guys got, Gervonta Tank Davis versus Frank Martin. I think it's a very credible opponent for Tank, but let me know in the comments who you guys got. Do you have Frank Martin or Gervonta Tank Davis? I'm gonna go with Tank by 8-9 round stoppage. I think Frank Martin's tough, but I don't think that he's gonna be able to last 12 rounds with Tank. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace. That's going to do it for another Naz Fight Media video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been your boy, Matt Nabong, with another video. Hope you guys enjoyed it all. Thank you guys for the constant support. Salute to y'all always. It's been your boy.